Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to some wonderful Worlds Collide action. We have an incredible matchup between Team Doomgaze with HunnyDoo as their representative and Team Bahamut with GoldenShocker as their representative. This is the rubber match. Teams are currently 1-1 this week. This is the final match of the quarterfinals in this here Warring Triads tournament. We have a wonderful Poltergeist Fury matchup. My name is Possum Morpheus, and I am pleased to be joined in the booth by Gar as my co-commentator this evening. Gar, how are you, sir?
Oh, I am doing very, very well. I am very, very much looking forward to this excellent match that is going to be on display for you all. I know that you know both HunnyDoo and GoldenShocker. You know what they're capable of. And both teams 1-1 this week, so this is for all the marbles. Whoever wins here gets to advance, and whoever does not win, well, they made a good run.
Is this the part where we cheer for a tie? Anyway, so the runners...
Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be. They're both absolutely incredible. I and yourself certainly have been put into the ground by the two of these runners, many times in the past. No shocker just how good both HunnyDoo and GoldenShocker are. Coming into this particular race, Team Doomgaze, they were number 1 in the Nemesis group. Team Bahamut was number 2 in the Legend group. On the Poltergeist Fury flag set, which we are running tonight, we have HunnyDoo coming in at a 2-0 record on that flag set, 4-2 overall. GoldenShocker 1-1 on the flag set, 3-3 overall. And so, historically, outside of this tournament, GoldenShocker may have an edge on HunnyDoo, but it looks like within this tournament, HunnyDoo's done a little bit better on the Poltergeist Fury flag set. So I think this is going to be a really close one. A lot going on with this particular flag set. There's the Y remove flag. You get a lot of really cool relics popping out of dead checks, and potentially a lot of power as well. So definitely excited as our runners get underway here. Looks like they have 9 characters, 11 espers, 22 checks as their skip, with just the standard 7 character, 9 esper for the unlock. So, Gar, with things kicking off here very shortly, what's kind of your play if you're in our runner's shoes? Where would you be going in this Poltergeist Fury right away? Would you be looking to do free checks with this Shadow Realm and Umaro, or would you look to be maybe going somewhere else and doing other things?
Well, as much as I rag on the Yeti, and trust me, I do like to rag on the Yeti, he makes your opener very, very safe just because his stats tend to be pretty high across the board, and he starts with that beautiful Snow Muffler armor. So not going to take a whole lot of damage and going to deal out a lot of damage. Now, we are going to be looking to replace that Yeti pretty soon, but he'll carry us through the opener here. So I like doing a little bit of looting here. I didn't see the abilities on either Shadow or Realm, but both of those are also powerful characters. So here I'd be more inclined to do those free checks. You see GoldenShocker doing Narsh Weapon Shop here, which is one of Locke's checks, and you can get into that by the Y remove flag. So you hit Y in front of the door, presto, it is unlocked.
And HunnyDoo showed us that it's 13 on the shield, as GoldenShocker is going to show it to us as well. HunnyDoo checking in Narsh here with the NPC. Also looted a pair of Marvel shoes, which I know that a large number of community members are very, very high on those Marvel shoes. Not too much else in the loot here, but it looks like both runners are going to equalize on that loot. Nothing super spicy in the shops as of yet. But we did get Phantom as the Esper from the weapon shop check there in Narsh.
Yeah, so we'll see what that Phantom has. It is Calmness Protection. I think that both of our runners here would prefer something a little bit more, what do you call it?
Robust.
Robust. Consistent, I think was the word, yeah. Phantom will work in a pinch. You'd really rather not rely on it. So looks like Shadow has Shock, which is a very, very powerful opening ability, and honestly can go through the entire game with that Shock ability, especially if we wind up seeing any kind of magic power Esper.
Yeah, because Shock is basically a baby Ultima in a sense, where it's just going to be, General Leo's vanilla ability, if you will. Obviously, he's not a character in the randomizer, but it's a pretty good one for sure. It looks like we pick up an Ice Rod for GoldenShocker as well. A little bit less impactful when we have an opening Shock, but hey, Ice Rod's still pretty good. Looks like both runners going to be looting here in Returner's Hideout. And an EXP egg in Returner's Hideout. Correct me if you've seen that one before today.
Yeah. Gotta love a little bit of egg action. We'll see if there's more to be had. In these sets of flags, you can actually buy them in shops in addition to just finding them in chests. So both of our runners very, very happy to see that. Probably just gonna jam that on Shadow for the time being. Let that Shock get nice and juicy. Maybe pivot off later on in the seed if we find like an Atma weapon offering combo, and we want to get some levels on that character. But as of yet, I haven't seen anything like that. So yeah, more looting to be had.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bit more looting here. Going to be going to the World of Balance South Figaro on GoldenShocker's side. On HunnyDoo's side, he is going to do the same. So parity in the way of loot for our runners, and just a little bit difference in the way of checks that they've handled so far. GoldenShocker being a little more aggressive with his freebies, picking up that Phantom Esper already. Not really much happening here in the way of loot in South Figaro. Kind of a dud so far. We see Chainsaw, which could be cool, but no Tools User yet. That Atlas Armlet is probably the best thing we've seen so far.
Everybody likes to do another 25% damage, right?
The Yeti does.
Oh yeah, and hey, how about some warp stones? You like to see those pretty early on. Noise blaster there too, just in case you find a tools user and you wanna make a free fight out of the Katana Soul.
Yeah, interesting. That's the second shop with warp stones already. They were in Returner's Hideout as well. So normally, I know that I struggle to find warp stones like 90% of the time. And I'm like, can I please? Where are they? And our runners have found them twice already. So they need to share. They need to keep that in mind, that there are other people in the community that would like to find warp stones. They don't have to hog them all.
Yeah, thank you very much for divvying those out. If you bring enough for the class, you get to, I don't know, you get a gold star, sticker next to your name, attack star. So yeah, both of our runners may opt to go and take a look at the basement. Personally, I think I would be tempted to just go ahead and start doing checks with this start. HunnyDoo looks like he is actually just going to go into the basement, and GoldenShocker as well. So neither runner wanting to miss out on what is a bunch of treasure down here. Could potentially wind up walking away with some really good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, especially having already found the EXP egg. I would actually be inclined, and I'm a relatively conservative and newer runner, but I would actually be inclined to be like, do I just push this with that XP egg and go? Because levels are the be-all, end-all, right? Like, it's cool to have nice shiny things, but if you can just get your levels up, that kind of solves the majority of the problems in Worlds Collide. So this has to be, I would think, maybe a little bit of scouting, a little bit of gamesmanship here. One runner at least knowing what the other's going to do, and also potentially, chat bringing this up as well, having the Yeti going to the Coliseum. If you just have more stuff, that's a higher chance to have that trade in for better more stuff out of the Coliseum. That is part of the Poltergeist Fury flag set, that you get a jumper set for completing a Coliseum battle. So we could also see our runners going to the Coliseum very soon as a byproduct of picking up all of this extra loot and trying to get a hit, to go with that XP egg, an Illumina, an Atma weapon, a Valiant knife, something that gives you kind of that end game, hurrah, if you will.
No, for sure. I think personally, I would be tempted to just, I would like fly around a little bit, look for those earrings just to juice up your shadow and your realm, and then just start doing checks. You like, there's no particular rush to go to the Coliseum right away. You still have the Yeti. The Yeti will do Yeti things in the Coliseum, and none of the characters can naturally equip any of the good spears that you get for the Dragoon set. So, uh, yeah, I would personally just hold off on that for a bit. HunnyDoo pays 34K, gets an economizer. That's very, very interesting given that you can just get a free Paladin shield if you're inclined to decurse it. What was the number? 13?
13, yeah, he knows the number, and GoldenShocker has it. Now, GoldenShocker did not do the reset on it, but he bought a bunch of, or he bought 4, I think, earrings. So GoldenShocker probably never getting that economizer, or at least not for a while, where HunnyDoo has that knowledge. GoldenShocker also a little bit more broke, but we do see this Phantom has Doom on it. And was that HP 100 or 10? I missed it.
Yeah, I didn't quite see it either. I was looking at the spells as Doom and was that Whirlwind, I think?
Something that doesn't matter. It was Doom.
Like Doom's fine. Pearl Rod's for sale too, so yeah, buy a couple of those. Basically, make your first couple of fights free if you so desire.
Yep, and GoldenShocker, kind of as expected, off to play ball in the Coliseum, has already geared up his Yeti. Looks like Albrook is the destination for HunnyDoo. Picks up another elixir, has already sold 3 of them. So lots of elixirs for our runners, which is honestly money in a lot of cases. Not a whole lot here. There's an enhancer. Yeah, this is a pretty dry... oh dear. Ogre, not what you want to see.
So it is worth noting that a lot of monsters have like different battle scripts in the Coliseum, and I think Ogre is one of the ones where it's a lot friendlier in the Coliseum than it is just out and about.
Okay, so it's not just going to end your life or turn you into a zombie or do any number of other things because it appears in 3 tiles in Go-Go's check somewhere in vanilla, and you have to deal with it in this game as a result.
Yep. So here it looks like it just wanted to spam Pearlwind to no avail. So there's the Dragoon set. And for those at home who do not know, the Dragoon set, it gives you a set of Dragoon boots, a dragon horn, and then either a partisan, an aura lance, or a pearl lance. So one of those at random.
And whatever it was, none of GoldenShocker's characters could equip whatever that either partisan or lance or pearl lance. So that jumper set is kind of just a thing that exists right now and not really doing too much else. So GoldenShocker going to take a little bit of random encounter here. Gets 2 brawlers, very very safe encounter here. Not very much XP either. A little surprised to see this on GoldenShocker side and not just maybe head to like Bowser's Mansion or something, which has some fixed encounters to it, or even potentially a floating continent if you really wanted to get super aggressive like that. So maybe that one random encounter was just so he doesn't have to take them in Bowser's. We do see HunnyDoo also picking up Phantom here. And we'll see, knowing that economizer is around, if he bothers to get the shield. And I expect he will, and try to leverage that economizer.
Oh, yeah. 13 is not a bad number. And, like, you can realistically, throughout the course of the seed, you can work on decursing that shield. It gives Realm something to do at the end game. Shadow, like, Ultimate is better than Shock, but Shock will carry you through just by itself. So, I personally would be sorely tempted to just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, Shock also, economizer aside, Shock doesn't have an MP cost. We also see GoldenShocker, why removing the door there. So goodbye door, not checking the random encounters here, only taking the forced encounter. It's a single crawler. Umaro Does a little bit of punch to it. We're going to get a shock here, and this probably is going to dispatch this crawler. There it goes. Shock being very powerful, non-elemental damage, basically baby Ultima. And looks like we get a Rhodox and some Grease Monks on HunnyDoo's side. Also not a particularly interesting encounter. So both of our runners kind of finding some meh encounters, but enough to get him a couple early levels. Level 6 versus level 3 is a big difference.
Yeah, 100%. And with the offense that they've got, they should be able to get through like whatever these bosses are, unless they are incredibly rude. And speaking of incredibly rude, Funbaba's not. It's not that he's rude. It's that he has a relatively large amount of HP.
Yeah.
So could be here for a bit, but we're doing about 1,000 damage with that shock. Funbaba has, I would guess, around 10k. So honestly, not that bad.
Yeah, my concern is what happens when Funbaba decides to Bolt 2 and Megavolt, or Gigavolt, excuse me, not Megavolt, and it hits Shadow. That's my concern here. Well,
no, that's fine.
That was like 3,000 health. Okay, Funbaba, I guess we're not scaled up to where I thought we were yet. I guess I've only done like 2 or 3 checks, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I always think that like monsters have more HP in this than they actually do, and that is the case at the start. But yeah, towards the end of this, they will drastically outscale our party. So HunnyDoo sees Strago, kind of a reversal from the vanilla game.
Yeah. Also, this is a party that exists check-wise, because Strago brings into play some more checks that you really don't want as your gates, like pretty much any of them, and you also have to consider, well, the big what if I do everything else in its Fanatics Tower. You're happy you have Realm at that point. You're happy you know where Pearl Rods are, as we see HunnyDoo use one of those Pearl Rods. But that would loom in the back of my mind, and HunnyDoo would be well set up for that with the Economizer Paladin Shield. GoldenShocker going to be joining HunnyDoo in Esper Mountain to get this Strago, and that's a Sword Tech Strago. Not necessarily the character you want to have it, but guess what? Sword Tech is Sword Tech, and we found a target for that EXP egg.
Yep, very, very nice. So yeah, HunnyDoo, GoldenShocker doing a little bit of a high five here. HunnyDoo gonna head out. I'm feeling that Floating Continent is going to be happening, like if not right now, then very, very soon. Because there's really just not a lot of great places to go. HunnyDoo did peek earlier at the Yeti Cave. Didn't see a character up there, so...
Yeah, I was going to say it's either going to be... I would think Yeti checks or Floating Continent at this point. I guess for HunnyDoo, he's got the Coliseum to go tackle here, and then potentially Owzers. But on GoldenShocker's side, I mean, maybe with Shock you go after Burning House. It's not the worst because you have free AoE and you can just get through a bunch of those encounters. You can also clear the majority of the Paladin Shield. I think if you're going to do it, now's the time. So maybe that's a play our runners can make. Not one that you ever want to do. Looks like we're going to get Cave on the Veldt first, before anything else. And the Raiden summon, I saw Cure 3, I think that was Berserk, and I missed what the ability was on it. It was very fast by GoldenShocker to just get it put on.
Yeah, I also only saw the Cure 3, but honestly, Cure 3 is about all you need. One of the cool things with this flag set is that multi-summon is enabled, so I believe that was the Raiden Esper, so...
Yes.
Don't have to worry about Doom if you don't want to. You can just summon Raiden over and over until everything dies.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the hit rate on stuff is like Air Anchor and then Cleave and then Break and then Raiden and then somewhere down below is Doom, something like that?
It's something like that, yeah. I just know that at the bottom, is X Zone.
Yeah.
And then X Fur is up there somewhere too. So.
Oh right, X for from Magitech.
Yeah, I always forget the X Fur.
It's very good.
It's pretty good. It doesn't come up all that often, but hey, if you need something to die, there, X Fur is your Huckleberry.
Indeed. And we do see HunnyDoo making the floating condemn play. And we see GoldenShocker going through Cave on the Veldt. Cave on the Veldt has Haydn and the Haydnites, one of my 3 favorite cover bands in Worlds Collide. And we see a Chimera and some Cephalers on HunnyDoo's side as a random encounter.
Yeah, so just not really what either of our runners, I think, wanted. HunnyDoo probably wanting a little bit more EXP from those encounters. And then GoldenShocker. Haydn is just brewed 100% of the time. Shock and slots make it a lot better, but...
Yeah, I mean, if we find a lore user, we pick up Grand Train off this. Is that correct or no?
In the vanilla game, you do. At scaling right now, you're probably looking... Oh, it's stone.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's
dear.
multi-target stone.
Oh,
it hit
no.
everybody.
Oh,
it's
no.
Noise Blaster. Oh, no!
Did we just 7 flush our party? We sure did. And, well...
Go, Yeti, go! Oh, this is not good.
Well, yeah, Atmo weapon on one side, Yeti on the other. This is certainly a tale of 2 fights.
Atmo weapon just so much better than Haydn here, but
Yeti gets through.
Yeti pulls it out.
Honestly, I know that community members love their marble shoes. The healing off of the marble shoes there absolutely saved GoldenShocker's bacon.
100%. That auto regen is just so clutch there. Let's see if he pets the dog.
Nope. Good man, no dog pet. Bravo, GoldenShocker.
GoldenShocker.
Good man.
You and I are gonna have words. I'm writing this down.
Words of encouragement and adoration, no doubt. Here's an interesting fight. Tritalk. This would be spooky in a lot of situations. This is not one of them. Yeti go burr, Shock go burr, Sword Tech go burr, Slots go burr. Basically everybody has an answer for this Tritalk, which is very rare that you're that blessed to just be able to crush a Tritalk that easily.
Well, to be fair, too, this is Poltergeist, so you can learn fire spells, which would make that a lot better, but in this case, it doesn't even matter. Well, that's pretty good.
That says Magpow. Now, did that go on Realm, or did that go on Shadow? I think that went on Realm.
That went on Realm, and I 100% agree with that. Realm, like, Slots is good right now, but she's going to need something to do later on. Fire 3 is perfect for that. We'll
Ultima
see
as well.
Yeah, we'll see if he even winds up learning Ultima at this point. Learning the Ultima is still a good play since we know where the economizer is. But in the interim, Fire 3, a little bit of magic power.
And we see on GoldenShocker's side, and this was something I was curious about, especially with Shock being available. Would we make a Burning House run at some point? And it looks like GoldenShocker has said yes to that. Going to go ahead and take on Burning House. Not really the encounters we want out of this, though.
Yeah, so looks like the first encounter was a pair of soldiers, and this is Whisper Hazer, so this is just not a lucrative house at all. Now,
No.
If this winds up being like required progression, then GoldenShocker could still, obviously then this is a good play, but you really wanted some levels out of this, I think, and that's just not going to happen here.
And here's another boss that early on can be annoying depending on what you have for abilities in Flame Eater. This is not going to be super difficult, especially because we have an Ice Rod that is going to be put straight onto Flame Eater's dome, or, wherever Flame Eater's dome is,
The whole thing.
since it's a ball of fire. And yeah, so Ice Rod, GG, bye-bye, and yeah.
Thanks for
onward
playing.
HunnyDoo goes. Just a Genji glove.
Yeah, so not terribly exciting right now. Possible we find some good weapons later on, but with Poltergeist, it doesn't really feel all that likely.
Another interesting fight. If Air Force wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, it can decide to launch her into other things and just absolutely ruin your day. So GoldenShocker going to try to get ahead of this with some AoE to take out the missiles or arms on the side, if you will, and is able to drop at least one of the arms, gets both, and so that is going to take care of the majority of the potential pain that this boss can give out. The spec absorbing magic, not really a concern here. It is going to eat up some of what's going on, but that is that's the boss down. So Air Force dispatched, and a relatively quick burning house, all things considered. I think GoldenShocker might have wanted to get a few more encounters on it, but it looks like he kind of just gave up with how bad those encounters were. And does get a Magicite, so not a character progression, but it is something. And no character up on Floating Continent, just a couple of Magicite for HunnyDoo and a Genji glove.
HunnyDoo, why removing that boss there? Just does not want the possibility of running into your Magimasters, your Doom Gazes, and just says, nope, let me out of here. And
I do know from doing some pickup races with HunnyDoo, multiple times in the past month, he has run into Magimaster on Floating Continent. That it's something that I know he likes to do. And he has multiple times run into exactly that boss on that Floating Continent. So it could be something sticking in the back of his mind as well. Even with Shock, am I really safe to go after that? And, Magimaster is always real spooky.
The Magimaster is really spooky. Level 5 or Doom Gaze if you're caught with some bad levels. And when you die, right there, most runners don't bother to save at that save point towards the end of Floating Continent. They just save at the beginning. And so if you die at FC3, well, you have a heck of a lot of time to make up. So HunnyDoo just not even going to try and bother with it. Says, let me just ensure my safety. I will gladly trade some experience for safety.
Yeah, and I mean, you pick up some XP anyway, right? There's 3 encounters to get onto Floating Continent. There's 2 or 3 more while you're on it. So even if they weren't the best encounters, I mean, you look at his levels, he's up over 1,000 HP on everyone already. So he's doing just fine on the levels based on the number of checks he's done. Not going to have too much resistance at this time because of those randoms. So I think he's still fine to give up 1 boss worth of XP. And we do see that ProRod doing 8k is able to get the majority of this hide-in taken out, while GoldenShocker comes across Tunnel Armor at Ebbett's Rock, and we'll see if this has any progression or if the Strago checks that everyone knows and loves just give us either Magicites or Zonks. It's Shiva and Kieran from Burning House and Ebbett's Rock, respectively. So nothing real spicy in the way of progression there, and I don't think he peaked Fanatic's Tower even to see if that was potentially progression.
Yeah, neither of our runners have. So
there's Fire 3 and Merton.
More,
oh boy.
Yeah, more Fire 3. Merton is cool as long as we can cast it, and right now I don't believe we can. So,
well, we can.
Well,
But
it doesn't work the way you want. But hey, yeah, there you go. Pet the dog. All right, so HunnyDoo, 27 minutes flat, winning the race right there. So congratulations to him. We'll go ahead and mark him down on the spreadsheet.
yeah, well done to Team Doomgaze, and there they go. I guess everyone just wants to see that dog get pet.
Woof woof bark bark. All right, so that I think that leaves us two options. It's either Fanatic's Tower or it's Kefka at Narsh for our character progression.
Yeah, because we already know the Yeti Peak is not a character. We've done everything of Shadows, so yeah. Interesting. If it's Fanatic's Tower, I think that's a decided advantage to HunnyDoo, because I also don't think GoldenShocker is even uncursing the shield. He is going to have Fire 3 after this dragon, and that may be part of this, is like, well, I'm kind of running a little low on options, so let me, get that Fire 3. But yeah, I think Kefka and Narsh favors GoldenShocker here. I think Fanatic's Tower favors HunnyDoo. Now, I might be completely wrong and off base on that as more of a novice to this on the analysis side, but that's kind of how I feel about this on the cursory level.
I think I agree with you. Fanatic's Tower for HunnyDoo is definitely, it's a lot more attractive than it is for GoldenShocker. So I would not be surprised to see HunnyDoo just go ahead and peak this right after doing Ebbett's Rock here. For GoldenShocker, though, he has a little bit more of a decision to make.
Yeah, I feel like on GoldenShocker's side, and I know folks don't save scum a lot in this, but you could even peek Fanatic's Tower, save outside of it, and then go peek Kefka and Narsh, and just decide, hey, do I really want to tackle this right now, or do I want to go peek the other thing that's available? He's also in the Narsh area, so he could just flip over to World of Balance after this and peek Kefka and Narsh. There's also the real possibility that GoldenShocker decides, hey, I'm going to go to Floating Continent after this, because it is 2 guaranteed points of progression, whereas the other things are, well, not guaranteed. So that could be something that plays into this as well. We see Fire 3 coming out on Dullahan, about 3,000 damage there, so not too bad. 5,000 from Realm, because Realm is, the best character in this game. And HunnyDoo going to give us a peek at our Opera House Dragon. We are yet to see this. We only have the Ice Dragon spot, which was the Blue Dragon that we've seen so far.
Yeah, so I like this play from HunnyDoo. Get you a bunch of magic power, or magic points rather, to learn those cool spells on those cool espers.
Did he get the Paladin Shield uncursed? Where this would give him a good chunk of the way through Ultima on someone?
I do not believe that he has decursed the shield, no. I don't see anybody with a condemn timer. I don't think he even bothered with it.
I saw someone with a condemn timer earlier on HunnyDoo's side, not on GoldenShocker's side though, so I am curious. We'll see.
Well, alright, so Bolt 2 came out and hit Realm. So maybe he did decurse it. I don't know. I have not paid that much attention to it.
GoldenShocker also says, monster in a box, no thanks. We going. We got things to do and places to be. No monster in a box, no uncursing a shield. We're moving, we're grooving.
And I get this too. Like, no, you haven't seen any Valiant knives or Atma weapons or anything like that, so.
And more Magicite. We get Carbuncle that puts up, what is it? Reflect on the party?
Carbuncle is Reflect, yes. And then chat pointing out that the shield is in fact uncured.
Okay.
So you need to put it in a bunch of salt to cure it. Okay, so HunnyDoo gonna go out of logic here, gonna Y remove his way into Mount Zozo, and says, like, I don't want to bother with the remaining checks because they're all bad.
This is interesting. I wonder if this is not only for the out of logic play, but more so because there's also a dragon, and this will get Ultima on someone. And then if he wants to go do the Yeti, basically because he knows the Yeti check is not a character, he can do this. It's effectively going to be the same type of thing. It gets some fixed dice, which, I mean, that's cool. It's slightly more cool in Warring Triads because you have the statues that are shuffled, but not really, that big a deal without an offering quite yet. But I wonder if this is just a play to get Ultima on someone and then, go buy an economizer and start hitting the button. Oh, Gambling Yeti.
Yeah, so very, very interesting plays here by HunnyDoo, opting to give the Yeti a pair of dice, or a set of dice, I suppose. We're going to have a Gambling Yeti.
And I do know, looking at this, HunnyDoo has 22 sleeping bags remaining. I think GoldenShocker was down to 9. So curious to see if GoldenShocker goes and does a little bit of shopping somewhere, or if he's just going to try to ride out, on maybe like a Cure 3 or something like that.
Storm Dragon for HunnyDoo. I believe this is vanilla. Imagine that.
Well, with 8 dragons, I suppose you're, bound to see something be vanilla at some point.
And there we see a little bit of the downside of giving Umaro a pair of fixed dice. His body slam is based off of the battle power of the weapon, and the battle power of the fixed dice, I believe it's either 0 or 1. Something's
not good.
No, it's rock bottom. So no big deal. Fire 3 takes care of most problems, and Storm Dragon is no exception.
And yep, Realm learns Merton and Ultima. We definitely don't have Merton protection yet, but that's another EXP egg. Probably a little late in the game for it, but you still don't hate it because now your Sword Techer can get one and someone else can get one. Probably whoever gets like a Magic Power Esper. And we see a Magicite hanging out up on, where is this, Mount Zozo. So, it's fine. It's not a character, but I think for HunnyDoo, more importantly, it gets him the big blue button. And he also picked up fixed dice and an egg along the way. So not a completely fruitless endeavor on Honey's side by any stretch.
No, and it's still, like, you're about halfway through the seed at this point. That egg is still going to come in very, very handy. Levels are king. I believe you said that, like, right at the start. So the more levels anybody gets, the better off everybody winds up being. So we'll see where he goes next. I really, really want him to peak Fanatic's Tower. I think that's where all of our juice is.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting if HunnyDoo does Fanatic's Tower, and it has a character. We do see him flying over. Looks like we're going to Zen. I believe this is where the economizer was for 35k. So he's going to go and pick that up. He's going to have economizer realm, chilling with either Fire 3. Oh, that's 59k in this world. It's only 35k in the other world. So
he's just going to sell stuff. Like, I want to buy it now. I don't want to come back later. And I completely agree with this. Like, in this seed, doesn't really seem like there's a lot to do with your money. So might as well just buy an economizer.
Yeah, the only thing would be is you come down to needing maybe like an auction house play or something. I don't think either of our runner peaked the auction house though while they were in Jador. So I don't think either of them even know about what's there. And we are getting the Fanatic's Tower peak from HunnyDoo. So this is going to tell us, is it Kefka and Arsh, or is it Fanatic's Tower? It could be both, of course. But we do see an imp there. So it is Kefka and Arsh gating the entirety of the seed. Uh, I think that's good for GoldenShocker and bad for HunnyDoo, because I think HunnyDoo is going to be enticed to go do, well, any number of things which are not Kefka and Narsh, because he's already even done the peak with his first time in World of Balance, so he's kind of already been there, done that. So this gets real interesting now on HunnyDoo's side.
I will say that it's not disastrous, right? Because I think actually that uh, Honeydew's remaining checks are this, Burning House, and then Kefka Narsh. He could, in theory, and actually both of our runners could, Y remove into Magitech, Y remove into Edgar checks.
True.
There are other options, but if you want to stay entirely in Logic, Kefka Narsh is where you got to be.
Yeah, and I know that with especially when you're looking for characters, going out of Logic is real spooky. If you're looking for Magicite, it's much more of a, a palatable type thing to do, where it's like, okay, I can get behind this. There's so many more Magicites, than there are characters. And the way the gates work, you want to stay in Logic typically for characters, but you can go all over the place for Magicites. So we kind of saw that already with Zozo giving out an Esper on Honeydew's side. If Magitech gave a character up front in one of the first two checks instead of the third, then, I'd be all on board with doing that like every time. But I think with it not happening until the third check there, like Magitech is kind of spooky to do. Because if you get 3 Espers there, you're literally no better off than you were before.
Well, maybe not. So for the skip for this seed is 9 characters, 11 Espers, and 22 checks. So
Right.
in theory, if Imtech is triple Esper, it's not horrible, but it's also like you really don't want to be there.
Right. But we know, as Drinks Glue is pointing out in chat, there's a character at Kefka Narsh, we know that. And there's another character behind whoever is there. And there's at least one more character somewhere else in that chain. So, like, we know logically, like, that's kind of where the play is. The conservative route, the logical route through the seed. I do want to also make sure to thank Knuckly Kong for a wonderful little raid there. Thank you, Knuckly Kong, for sending over yourself and your fantastic viewers to this wonderful match between GoldenShocker and HunnyDoo on the Poltergeist Fury flag set.
Yeah, and if you are not already following both HunnyDoo and GoldenShocker, please just do me a favor and go and follow them right now. They are terrific players, terrific people. You are going to love to watch them play, and they are putting on a heck of a show for us today. Both of them just playing their hearts out right now, and it's really tough to tell who's ahead.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to who gets to Kefka Narsh first. So, like, does HunnyDoo want to peek that, or does he want to do, the Burning House and Ebbets Rocks of the world? We haven't really seen any struggles for our runners, with the exception of GoldenShocker and was it Haydn? And here is Doomgaze. This was meant by you, Gar. It does hit the Shock Shadow, but this is one of those 2 spooky bosses that was kind of talked about. Y remove on this boss was the play.
Absolutely incredible. Like, of all the bosses that this could have been, the fact that it's DG, and then HunnyDoo making the correct play, going up to Kefka Narsh, going to go pick up whoever's chilling out up here.
Yeah, so HunnyDoo's going to be ahead on characters at this point. He's going to be down 1 Esper. He's also going to be up 2 dragons. Well, I guess he's going to be down 2 Espers, but he's going to have that character in the bank first. He's going to have Ultima with an economizer, Things looking pretty good. It is a Saban as well. That's a lot of fast checks that come on board. So this could be pretty zoomy from here for HunnyDoo, because that Saban is going to do some work. And goodbye, Yeti. You are losing everything. The second best part about having a Yeti in your party is that, you get to take his snow muffler when you decide I would like somebody else. And, at this point, we now know that that's someone else's Saban, at least for now. And we are going to get a peek on GoldenShocker's side of Fnatic's Tower. He's going to see it is not what he needs for a character. He's going to leave and be like, well, I've done it. I've last locationed my progression here. So GoldenShocker is up Burning House and Ebbett's Rock, but is down on the logical path to characters in the seed.
Yeah, so we'll see, because he's not too far behind HunnyDoo here, and like I say behind, and it's not really that Shocker's behind at all. He's 2 Espers up, and in terms of just going for his characters, though, maybe a couple minutes out. But this has been just kind of a silly seed. Just in general, you don't really expect to be character gated at Kefka and Narsh.
No, certainly not with the number of available checks either, but I'm sure our runners are happier it's here than Fnatic's Tower. Maybe again on HunnyDoo's side he wouldn't care because he's got a button and he's got an economizer.
Yeah, he's got the cheap Pokemon.
So, there goes Inferno. Inferno can be a spooky boss if it decides to be like, hey, you know what I'd like to do? I would like to go Launcher into diffuser or shrapnel, or I would just like to remove you from existence. So HunnyDoo nice enough to remove Inferno from existence first. So a little high five from our runners, and we'll see. That is a natural magic steel Saban.
Still better than the Yeti. In theory, you could also give him that magic power Fire 3 Esper if you really wanted to. But merit aboard like Moogle Charm, just go ahead and do fixed ice stuff. Why not?
Yeah, and on HunnyDoo's side, I'm also curious. Do we get a 3rd or 4th dragon taken? He's got the 2 dragons done. But are we ever looking for a 3rd or 4th to get some extra progression on either Ultima for people to go towards the Poltergeist Fury objectives where you do get a bonus, for doing dragons in this flag? So I think it's Shell and Haste that you can pick up. Interestingly enough, HunnyDoo going for Imperial Camp here. I know that Phantom Train is peakable, Collapsing House is peakable. So this is a little curious for me. Maybe he's also looking for Monster in a Boxes too, because I would not have thought about Imperial Camp right now for him.
So he does have that fixed ice. Offering would be really nice. He's also still down 2 Espers, and so this gets him a bunch of levels. Well, hopefully not with encounters like this, but ideally he'd be closer to the 40s after doing this check. Especially if he checks the monster in the box and it winds up being like Gigantos or something.
Yeah, the random encounters in this seed overall have been trash. Just hot garbage.
Yeah, they've just not been good.
I think there was a Gillimantis Mesosaur, and that was the best thing. Yeah, we're not going to get just one of these B-cores. We're going to get 2 of them. Just bad.
It's not even B-core. It's not B-core Stray Cat either. So you don't even get the Stray Cat rage. If your next character is a Rager, so. All right, so maybe the last encounter will be double Gigantos or something.
Yeah, I mean that's what HunnyDoo's probably hoping for here. GoldenShocker, at least for now. I don't know if this is going to be forever. First of all, buys a diamond armor, but second of all, Yeti remains in the party.
GoldenShocker, I think, is truly the people's champ.
Well, he didn't pet the dog, but he kept the Yeti. So does that balance out?
Well, not in my head, but I'm also like very biased against the Yeti, so maybe take my thing with a grain of salt. But yeah, keeping the Yeti in the party. I mean, that Saban really isn't doing anything. So HunnyDoo does pick up an 8th Esper there, and now has a couple of peakables, like you mentioned earlier. So can go and do Collapsing House, can go and take a look at Phantom Train.
It looks like GoldenShocker, I didn't see him save. He just is rushing into this collapsing house, and maybe I missed that, but I would want to save scum this in case it's not a character, but it is a character.
Well,
And it's a Cyan. And we have Sword Tech. Now, this is his unlock.
I don't
I don't think so.
It's way too long. Like so level 44 is what you need to hit in order to unlock Sword Tech 7.
Which he already has, by the way.
Okay, so yeah,
we have ID already.
So. Does not need to do that.
Bahamut for HunnyDoo says no.
Okay. I get it.
I kind of feel like I would just do that because then I can just peek for a character.
I think that it's kind of a hedge, like on what this is, right?
True.
That being said, I think I do it as well, and then I would take a look at Collapsing House before doing this, but
yeah. Sketch Cyan. GoldenShocker is saying, "Oh, I'm going to go back and get whatever that item was." No, just kidding. I'm out. So, where are we off to on GoldenShocker's side?
Zozo.
Okay, so that's right. We need 7 characters, not 6. So that is not his. My apologies.
That's true, and I totally forgot. Wowee. I was doing Doom's Rage Seeds earlier today, so I've got 6-9 on the brain.
Nice. Yeah, I also did because I was doing Ultras League earlier, so I'm right there with you. Yeah, I completely forgot about the 7 that we need one more character. So for GoldenShocker, I'm curious, does he bother with a dragon here? I don't think he does. He's got his levels already.
And this is a character too for HunnyDoo. Oh, and it's Edgar. Ooh, that's
a free check right off the rip. That's really good for HunnyDoo.
Yeah, that's very, very spicy.
So that now puts HunnyDoo 1 Esper away.
Oh, and that's interesting too because he's a natural jumper. So we picked up whatever spear it was in addition to a dragon horn. So if we wanted to, we have a number of options. We could either give Edgar a spear and have him jump the old-fashioned way, or we could give him a merit award if he can't naturally equip the fixed dice.
Yeah. A Cyclonic coming out from the Storm Dragon and hits everybody. So GoldenShocker has been quad Cyclonic. He has also been quad stoned in this seed. Nobody deciding to dodge anything on GoldenShocker's side today.
Sometimes you just get seeds like that, and like it's super annoying. But what are you gonna do?
An 11th hour EXP egg for GoldenShocker. Probably not thrilled about that. HunnyDoo going to give a peek at whatever is on the throne here. If this is an Esper, he's looking real good because he then just has to go to Collapsing House and he's in business. It is not an Esper. So that puts Phantom Train back in play. So I think from HunnyDoo, we're likely to see at this point Collapsing House to get the Cyan, and then probably off to Phantom Train since he knows it's an Esper at this point. Whoops, Moogle Charm alert.
Yeah. Wizards are cool. You can steal Ice Rods from them if you have Steel. So Harry Potter, hanging around in the desert once he was done with school. My, how the mighty have fallen.
The boy who didn't live?
The boy who lived, but, then burned out real quick. It became increasingly disconnected from reality until he was wandering the Figaro Desert.
Worth noting, we are down to 5 sleeping bags on GoldenShocker's side. I bring this up because in a prior race in this tournament, GoldenShocker went into Kefka's tower ahead of Falcon Hit in a race and ended up completely running out of resources, sleeping bags included. And I'm hoping for his sake that doesn't happen again where he runs out of resources. We do have a Celeste here, so that is GoldenShocker's unlock if he can get through this fight. It is Kefka gating Kefka's tower for GoldenShocker, how appropriate. So HunnyDoo is going to be picking up his Cyan here. HunnyDoo, I think, has to do the train here after this to get that guaranteed Esper that he knows is out there. Is there any other path that you three see at this point for him?
It's either you get you get the Cyan, and then you go and get your Bahamut, or you get your Celeste and then hope that whatever's in the basement is an Esper.
Would you then run, I guess, the basement plus Magitech 1-2? Or I guess you could just
do
Magitech 1-2.
Yeah. I'm actually super curious because HunnyDoo has some options here as far as getting his last Esper. Looks like he's gonna climb a mountain. So this will put him at 3 dragons, assuming that he takes this one.
So he knows that this is not a character. So now, is the Yeti check guaranteed? No, it's not guaranteed to be an Esper. So he's hoping that Tritalk or Yeti check have an Esper, is my guess here. Plus he can pick up this 3rd dragon. And looks like GoldenShocker, I don't know if he was doing a little shopping there or what the play is here, but he is off to Kefka's tower here. Doesn't have the skip, it looks like.
No. I think HunnyDoo is closer to it. But GoldenShocker looks like he's going to overload that right party. So going to full clear the middle and then warp out and clear the wings. So
yeah, I think advantage to HunnyDoo on this because I don't think he's going to have to do this double dip. He is, ever so slightly behind on checks at the moment, but he's going to be up on dragons. And he's going to be able to, I think, split Sword Tech to one, Ultima to another, and then Ultima to a third, if he can just get the skip. And what does he need for skip at this point? Because it may just behoove him to just get skip and go.
Yeah, it's kind of tough actually to figure out the math behind it. If HunnyDoo's close, and I'm not looking at his stream in particular, so I don't know how many checks that he's done. But if he's close, he may wind up, like taking his party, doing Toilet Atma and that dragon, for example.
Right. Yeah, and this just gets real interesting because GoldenShocker, he's not going to end up with the skip. He's basically, there's a flame shield. That's pretty nice.
That's nice.
So he's going to have to do 2 full runs up the tower, and I think on HunnyDoo's side, he's going to do 1 skip through the tower. So this is going to be real interesting. HunnyDoo is going to be at 20 checks after Tritalk. We need 22 for the skip. So he could just peace out after he gets this Esper, go do Toilet Atma and the Dragon like you were saying. I believe that's going to put him at 4 dragons as well.
It will, yeah. So he'll have that haste and safe, and he'll have the skip, and he's got Ultima.
Yeah.
So
like it's not out of the realm for GoldenShocker to win this, but if I were a betting man at this stage, I think my money would be on HunnyDoo at this point.
The biggest problem that HunnyDoo has is that he is dice jumping with Edgar, and dice are fickle.
Really?
You know, if like where is Boo? Boo knows more than anybody about just how pernicious the dice can be.
Well, one thing that HunnyDoo's not going to have to deal with is a French vanilla guardian, or a Neapolitan guardian, or whatever you want to call this guardian, which is just a gigantic wall of HP at this point. That's like, hi, I'm going to waste your time. I'm also going to be annoying and do things that are going to eat up big chunks of your HP. But this is a fight that, I mean, it's a lot of XP for GoldenShocker, but he doesn't need more XP.
I don't know. He's got a Sword Tech 7 Strago. You want that
you
man to yeah. And like he's doing like some really phenomenal damage, like 3.5k a pop. So,
and here goes HunnyDoo towards Kefka's tower. I'm expecting a middle team overload here. Yeti off to one side,
yes,
Sabin off to the other. We do get that middle overload. So this is going to be the Toilet Atma plus Dragon.
Yep. And then, like we said before, that's 4 dragons and the skip for HunnyDoo.
We are down to 3 sleeping bags on GoldenShocker side.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that HunnyDoo is just in such a commanding position here. I think that it's going to be difficult for GoldenShocker to catch up.
Yeah, it feels like the choices that HunnyDoo made early in the seed were less aggressive, more conservative, and because this seed ran long and kind of bottlenecked where it did, HunnyDoo got paid for that. GoldenShocker, while he got Espers from Burning House and he got Espers from, Ebbett's Rock and all that, because he ended up doing all of it and, basically literally last locationing that character at Kefka and Narsh, where HunnyDoo was able to put off Burning House and pick up a lot of faster checks. The combination of having Ultima and the Economizer, and the combination of just not doing, especially that extra Burning House, really benefiting him in the long run here. So I know it seems silly to say, because the seed ran long as they're in Kefka's tower under an hour, for runners of this caliber, they got a relatively late unlock for Poltergeist Fury.
Oh yeah. So there are those dice doing what the dice are gonna do. Sometimes
the dice do well, okay. And sometimes you kill with a 464 damage hit from Realm.
Yeah, he was pretty close. That first jump was like 7,200 and then like a 4K something. So he had plenty of damage piled onto him, but.
So Toilet Atma down, Dragon going to be down here, and then HunnyDoo basically going to be going to the statues, while GoldenShocker is going to be warping out to come back to the statues. But he's going to have to make a full run up again. HunnyDoo's also going to be up auto shell and auto haste.
Auto safe.
Now, auto safe, excuse me.
Ice Dragon for HunnyDoo. This poor creature is not long for this world.
No, Fire 3 going to be real bad. Sword Tech 7 going to be real bad. I guess we're just going with 6. Yeah, that'll do.
Yep. Good night.
Stole a Minerva on GoldenShocker side. I'd love to see it. Alright, KT Skip unlock for HunnyDoo. He's got plenty of levels. He's level 44 on his non-egged characters, level 55 on his egged characters. GoldenShocker is done with Goddess. So basically, HunnyDoo at this point is going to be ahead on basically all accounts. Because by the time GoldenShocker gets back to these statues, HunnyDoo's already going to be on to his second statue, if not already done with his second statue. So he's going to have more power for the final Kefka fight. Barring a wipe here, I don't see a lane for GoldenShocker back into this.
It will be close.
It'll be close for sure.
GoldenShocker does get a peek at the wings here, and HunnyDoo has no idea what's going on. So, and it looks like on the left side is Doom. So, right side will be Poltergeist, which means that Shock Shadow is up against Polty, and that is probably his weakest party member.
The Sword Tech Strago, I suppose that's who you'd want against Poltergeist. Or would you want that against Doom? That's kind of tough to say.
I'm not sure, honestly. I think that oh, and he brought Strago and Edgar to this side. So, so the way that I'm thinking about it, Strago can solo one of them, Edgar can solo one of them, Realm can solo one of them. So each of them need to go to 3 different lanes. Which lane, doesn't really matter, but Shadow probably belonged in the middle lane. So unless I'm missing something.
We do have the added interest of a Yeti playing with Goddess here. Not that I think it's going to make any real difference, but certainly certainly going to be a thing. Looks like Chatty is letting us know in chat that it's going to be Sword Tech versus Poltergeist. I think for HunnyDoo, and then X Magic Ultima versus Doom. So I think that, that's still going to be a relatively... Well, no, because Sword Tech is here. So it's Shock versus Poltergeist, and then X Magic Ultima versus Doom.
Well, if Shadow learned Ultima from that Paladin shield, then he should be good to go. Because you can just take the economizer from Realm,
True.
and Ultima until the cows come home.
And yeah, Goddess already down for HunnyDoo.
Yeah, and GoldenShocker still needs to climb up with Party 3, so a couple of minutes behind here.
Yeah, I think he's a couple minutes behind on the run-up, and then I think he's probably giving up about 2 minutes in the final Kefka fight. Maybe more even. Just, being able to spam Ultima, especially in Tier 2, is so huge. You can just cleave off, with Realm especially, 7,000 to 8,000 from 3 targets at once. That's an enormous amount of damage being able to pump out 24k with a single character. Even, going X Magic Ultima, if you just want to kind of blow, everything on Tier 2 and then maybe Osmos or Elixir up afterwards for Tier 3, that can take off probably another 5 to 6k twice from everyone. So, HunnyDoo's his Tier 2 should fly in comparison to GoldenShockers as well.
Yeah. If I'm HunnyDoo, I'm probably not even worried about using instant death on tools. Just like I'll mute magic because he's annoying, and then
Right.
I'm gonna Ultima forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. To answer a question from chat, I think we have Phantom currently as our calmness protection. I don't think we saw Life 3. I don't know if we saw Golem or Fenrir. I think we're currently rocking Phantom, I believe.
Yeah. Phantom is our game plan, which we have a Sortec 7 Strago.
Yeah.
So he should be able to push the damage high enough to where Phantom is actually fine. But it is going to require HunnyDoo be a little careful with the timing. Like, I like to play it super safe and just wait for rest to take a turn before I cast it.
Yeah. And GoldenShocker goes ahead and gives us the save here. And he is, like I anticipated, heading into the second statue as HunnyDoo is going to be killing his second statue. So HunnyDoo has officially overtaken him, and we kind of knew he was overtaking, but has officially now overtaken GoldenShocker. Is up an entire statue. And we have Swordtech and Shock both going after Doom here. So what does that leave us on Poltergeist?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Because he never decursed the shield. So he doesn't have that Ultima.
Is multi-summon on in this?
It is.
Okay, so you can multi-summon Bahamut. Yeah, that might be the game plan, is Realm just summons Bahamut as his Ultima.
And, like, Bahamut's a real source of damage.
Oh, for sure.
But, you know, every time you cast Bahamut, you're looking at, like, about a 10-second animation, which is, like, that's light. That's forever in Worlds Collide terms.
And X-Magic Shadow here on HunnyDoo's side. This is double Ultima coming out.
Ooh. Big Blue Bubble.
And Big Blue Bubble also doing real damage. That's 2 quad 9s. Stealing a red jacket as well. I don't think we've got Merton protection. Not 100% certain on that though.
So we have a Paladin shield, and we have that red jacket. GoldenShocker picked up a flame shield, but I don't think that he picked up. Oh, why would you shock?
Maybe he was counting damage, and
he was counting the damage. Yeah. So I was actually a little nervous that the shock wasn't going to be enough because Poltergeist has about 42,000 HP there. The 4 Ultimas is 39996.
Yeah. Yeah, but HunnyDoo up an entire Poltergeist. Realm is casting Meteor.
Okay, I do like Meteor as a spell, but Ultima is significantly better.
That is the switch is at what, 110.37, give or take, for HunnyDoo?
Yep. So get your guesses into chat. How long is it going to take for HunnyDoo to climb up Kefka's tower? We start when the The bell rings and ends with a crack pow.
I'm guessing that this should be just about a sub 120. I think it's going to be pretty close, but just sub 120 feels about right on this. So maybe, 8 minutes and change. I'd say maybe 8:25 sounds about right.
Yeah, so 111.33.
I'm a little surprised we ended up going Meteor here with Realm. I thought that we had Bahamut and that would be a faster way through this, but... Meteor still does a lot of damage. It's like 5k a pop, but 5k times 9 versus, quad 9s times 4, big difference. Oh, Bahamut was on the Phantom train, that's right.
Yeah, and HunnyDoo reset out of it and never went back
So
and picked it
no
up.
one has
GoldenShocker
Bahamut.
never got it, so...
Fair enough.
Oh, side note, that was the beefiest Lagomorph I have ever seen in my life.
It needed to be more, because Sabin is dispatched.
Yeah, well... Sometimes, that's just what happens.
Thick sword text from Strago here. 4k a hit here. We're getting Fader coming out, so Phantom comes out. We're going to take less in the way of punchies here as things die. And, HunnyDoo shocking now as well with Shadow. And this Quadra-Slice probably finishes off Tier 1 as we have Chocobop coming out, because I think GoldenShocker is out of resources. That's a 7,600 damage Chocobop. And Poltergeist gets bopped as Tier 1 goes down.
My goodness.
Oh, H-Bomb. My bad, not Chocobop.
I think Chocobop misses Polty. I think Polty's floating.
Oh, of course, all the random things are floating.
Yeah. Of course. Alright, so Tier 2 from HunnyDoo. This is where I just expect him to cast Ultimate a whole lot. And then Edgar not to be outdone with the Quadra bounce.
He wanted to play the game.
I get it.
We see Siren coming out, so gonna mute Magic because, as you alluded to, it's annoying. We see Ultima coming out. Looks like we did not bother with tools. That takes out 5 to 6k on everything, and we're gonna do it twice. And this is kind of what I thought might happen, that you kind of just send it all here and just blow through Tier 2 as quick as possible. Use all those Ultimas and, just get rid of the annoying phase.
Yep. So he is gonna cast the Doom. I get it. Because Tools is also very annoying. Like, all of her stuff takes forever for the animations to go through, so yeah. But now we're back to the big blue bubble. 10 hits already.
I think he probably wanted to get Fader out before that just for the animation time, but we did too much damage. And, if you're on HunnyDoo's side and you're cheering for Team Doomgaze, you're okay with too much damage. That's a good sign.
Well, it's rough too, because you don't want... I don't think you want to cast Phantom just in case Magic, whenever he dies, if he decides to cast Quarter, then you gotta do all that stuff, so...
And out comes the X-Magic Ultima. Surely not for the last time either.
Yep. So I think this is going to be the end of Tier 2 for HunnyDoo.
Yep, Quarter comes out. If you see Quarter hit and Magic has been muted, then you know that that is the end of the tier. So we do go into tier 3 with a couple people under 1,000 health, but we've got a couple people over 3,900 health as well. So even if there's like an opening Merton and Shadow and Edgar go down, we're still just fine here. Plenty of time to recover. So heading into tier 3 for HunnyDoo, while GoldenShocker is, kind of just getting through tier 1, it looks like. So GoldenShocker is still putting up a heck of a fight here, but the window rapidly closing.
Yeah, at this point, we're going to need something catastrophic to happen on Tier 3 or Final Kefka. And if catastrophe is to strike, this is where it will happen.
It would
whirlwind into Medio is a really easy way to send you right back down to the bottom.
Well, honestly, even just Train is extraordinarily annoying. Yes, we have Sword Tech, yes, we have Shock, but Train would be really, really obnoxious. So
Soul Sister.
I think that HunnyDoo is playing this very safe, waiting for the action, trying to get as close to the basically playing Price is Right here, trying to get closest without going over. Then is going to unload. I think he's waiting for Sleep to take a turn here. This Wild Fang is real bad. But it missed.
Question in the chat, is there a rhyme or reason for Merton versus Whirlwind to start the phase, or is it just random? It is basically just random. So whenever you first get into phase 3, Rest, the guy laying down, it's a 33% chance to cast Merton, a 33% chance to cast Whirlwind, and a 33% chance to do nothing at all.
And we saw HunnyDoo expertly getting the timing there on Phantom, then killing it with Sword Tech, so very well done there, on to phase 4. We also saw GoldenShocker. 2 people got Northern Cross, so he had to spend time obliterating his own party to unfreeze them. So HunnyDoo was able to get through tier 3 well before GoldenShocker able to get through tier 2. That is not surprising, though. Tier 2 is the longest of the tiers, typically by a wide margin.
Yeah, so we have about a minute or so to kill HunnyDoo if he wants, or to kill Final Kefka on HunnyDoo's side, rather, if he wants to keep it under an hour and 20, which would be super cool.
We have 16k damage lodged into Kefka at the moment. About 20k. There is the Fallen one. We do have 2 Mega Elixirs. We do throw an Ultima out, though, before this Mega Elixir is going to fire, if there's a counter.
He shouldn't counter with Ultima. We haven't done quite as much damage yet, so...
The second one could get countered, but Realm is too legit to quit.
Yeah.
And HunnyDoo backs out of the Sword Tech. I think he's waiting. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Perfectly executed there, backing out and then deciding, now we go. And so, yeah, this is the end of the road for Team Bahamut. This is the end of the road for GoldenShocker. This is the end of the road, most importantly, on HunnyDoo's side, for this here's seed Kefka. And I know that HunnyDoo was worried going into this match, because I think that this may be the first time he has beaten GoldenShocker. And congratulations to him. He's just over an hour 20. But that is GG's to HunnyDoo. Very well done. Defeats GoldenShocker and Team Bahamut.
Yeah, very, very nicely done by HunnyDoo. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. But yeah, that was, very much a textbook climb, textbook Final Kefka. You expect this level of play from your top runners, and HunnyDoo, almost certainly a top runner.
Yeah, definitely. Not a surprise to see this. Like we kind of started out talking about, HunnyDoo went 2-0 in Poltergeist Fury during the air quote regular season of this tournament, if you will. So getting into the playoffs, he goes now to a personal record of 5-2, 3-0 in Poltergeist Fury. So a force to be reckoned with in general, but on this flag set especially, really doing work and puts his team through to face Team Valiant, and so at some point we're going to get an Overswarm versus HunnyDoo matchup next week. So that'll be a real fun one to watch as well.
Yeah, personally, I'm very excited for all of the matches that are in the finals here. Well, the final set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I know that you have a date with Destiny next week as well, as your team also survived.
Yeah, so it looks like I am going to be going up against Jackamus. So, Jack, if you're watching, see you next week.
We will see if we can get HunnyDoo in for an interview here. Let's check on things. No word yet, but hopefully we do get him for an interview as we see GoldenShocker heading up to Tier 4 now.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, that GoldenShocker climbed the tower twice, so just very, very, very close to HunnyDoo throughout this entire seed, so...
Yeah, and did an extra burning house, which did not help his cause. But we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, HunnyDoo. GG's to you, sir, and congratulations to you and Team Doomgaze.
Oh, we live another week.
Okay.
Huge shout outs to my team. They've been fighting hard for 7 weeks now. And hoping we'll be together. Huge shout outs to those two. Still building PB and J.
Alright. So you removed the last boss at FC3. If you had to guess, what do you think that boss was?
Doomgaze or Magimaster?
You're 50% correct.
Yeah.
It was Magimaster.
It was Doomgaze.
Doomgaze, okay. Yeah, you always end up over-leveled on this flag set, so I removed the FC boss and the Zozo boss every time.
I was gonna ask, like, if that was something that you normally do, because...
Yeah, every time, literally every time. You level 50 at the end of only seed, so why fight those two bosses?
Yeah, especially here, too, because you wound up having... I think when you went up, you had just the one egg, but then you found the second one later, but, like, even then...
Oh, I never... Did I find a second egg? I think I just had one.
You got a second egg from Zozo.
Zozo.
I think your first one was Returner's Hideout.
Oh, I think I never equipped that egg, actually.
Oh, no!
I mean, I was doing quad 9s anyway, so...
Yeah.
You invested, and you invested very early to find out the information of what the Zen Thief was. When you found out that it was an economizer, how did that impact your game plan?
Well, I knew I would come back. Figured I would come back for it later because I had talked to the World of Balance Norse NPC and he said Curse Shield is 13. I was like, well, I got Floating Continent, so there's like 8 fights if you remove the last one right there. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we doing Curse Shield as seed. I could do 13 with FC seed. So I knew I'd have to come back for it at some point. Unfortunately, when I came back, it was in World of Ruins and it was like 20,000 higher, but I had stuff to sell, so I was like, yeah, I'm not swapping worlds and running back in just to save 20k gil, like, past the second part of mid-game. That's too late to be worrying about a gil. Yeah. And also, it's pretty much hard committed to doing the check skip, like, you know, with the amount of dead checks and everything, it just felt like it was going to be a check skip seed, so... right about the time when I decided to go back for the economizer, I was like, yeah, I needed to check anyway. So
Makes sense.
Yeah. You made like very effective use of that Ultima basically as soon as you got it. If that curse shield number were higher, like let's say it was the full 20, would you have decursed it? That's my first question.
to make a decision on the spot before my first grind battle, and what would affect that decision is, did I find any other elemental resist while I was in my looting phase? And I absolutely did not. So if it was the full 20, I'd consider it, because yeah, I didn't have a Minerva, I didn't have any shields, I had nothing but that paladin shield.
Okay.
Granted, I didn't know my power was going to be this high in game, so I probably didn't need the paladin shield. But granted, Ultima was part of the reason why I was that high, so it all worked out.
Everyone loves the big blue bubble. Jesus. So like my follow up then was going to be like, if 20 is too much, and for a lot of runners it is, like basically no matter what the circumstance, what was your game plan then going to be, like going into final Kefka? Were you gonna clear out the middle and then warp out, use your skip, and then hit up the wings?
It's gonna depend on my offense. If I can beat the statue in 5 turns, like quad 9 in every turn, then that's basically what I'm gonna go for. And I went and did Coliseum for the Dragoon set, just because Dragoon, like, he completely owns Goddess and Doom, and end up finding like Dice and Merit Award later. So like, yeah, it just come down to like the offense. Like, how long do I think the statue fight's gonna be? Because they start getting insane after like turn 5. Start doing hyperdrives and ultimas and stuff.
Yeah, they get really, really rude. Except for Doom. Well, Doom starts out
North Cross
being rude, and then he stops being rude like halfway through. So.
I would have been mad if that North Cross would have hit me in that first. He did the turn 1 end cross, but it missed. I was like, not today, buddy. You frozen me every practice seed for like the last 3 days. Please don't do it to me today. You done had your fun for the week. Leave me alone. Then luckily you left me alone. But yeah, that's a fun seed to play. A fun seed to route out. Like, just constantly thinking about the end the whole time, and yeah, just everything came together. It's like how I put the EXP egg on Strago. Strago did not press a button for like 65 minutes. Literally, he just watched other people fight for the entire run. Then in KT, he starts popping off.
Well, that's just like the Sword Tech way, right? Because as soon as you get Sword Tech 7, that's about when the damage starts coming online, and then he just starts snowballing from there.
Yeah, I think he only had 1 Magicite the whole seed. Is like, I see people get stuck in the menu so long with the Esper Shuffle, and it's like why would I ever put another Magicite on him? Because it's like, he's just gonna Sword Tech. But there's some people, they think they got to learn everything on every Magicite on every character, and that's how you end up 5-10 minutes behind.
He's a one-trick pony, but it's a heck of a trick.
It's a really cool trick.
I will say, I did have one part where I had a coin flip moment. So I had 20 checks. I needed 22 for the skip. I could either do the boss at the Umaru spot and the dragon, or I could do a Toilet Atman dragon. So I decided Toilet Atman dragon. I get there, and it's Rexol that like hard counters my whole team. But luckily, when one of your things that your multi-target stuff is a jumper, you can aim where your first jump goes. So it's not the end of the world, but it is a little annoying to have to fight that with 2 Ultimas and Sword Tech and Dragon Horn jumping. So I'm lucky that fight wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be. But I was not happy to see that boss in that spot. Especially since it was a 50-50 whether I fight that boss or whichever boss was at the Yeti spot.
Now, to be fair, is anybody ever happy to see Rexol, like, in any circumstance?
Doom Seeds got all the beat sticks on them.
Not my Doom Seeds. Nothing but Pearl Lances, man.
Hey, no, Pearl Lance can do some stuff. Not really.
Not against Rexol.
Honeydew, we do have a question from chat for you that I want to just throw your way as well. We have a question from Overswarm. Overswarm is asking Honeydew how Overswarm is supposed to beat Honeydew. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, add some levity to this here interview.
Well, good enough to beat me on any day, so just try not to make any mistakes. I'll probably do something goofy and kill myself at some point. Then you just play solid and beat me.
You heard it here first, folks. Honeydew's gonna do something silly. I'm here for it.
I gotta find out what flag set we play in week 2, so I know what kind of silly it's gonna be. I'm assuming it's not Poltergeist, so I can't do any wire remove silliness.
I mean, you want it to be Poltergeist, so we kind of talked about this. Your record on this flag set in this tournament's 3-0. So, like, this seems to be your bread and butter here. This flag set.
Yeah, I think I do pretty well on it. I don't know, the routing just makes sense to me. Like, I know when to wire remove and I know when not to. Because some people either they won't do it every seed or they will do it every seed. Me, I just kind of try and read the logic and know is this a wire remove time. Only wire remove I did this seed was I did weapon shop at the beginning because I had to go pick up that 13 curse shield anyway. And the millisecond that shield was uncursed, I went did Opera and then Mount Zozo. And the reason I did Mount Zozo second is it was a quick dragon to get to. It's another check that it could be a character. It wasn't, but at least it was a Magicite. And it was next door to Ozer's, which, I put all that Southwest continent together. So as soon as I got that shield uncursed in Ebba Tarak, I just did that clean sweep of the Southwest continent to get my Ultima online and, have 2 dragons in the pocket and do that next check. Which I was surprised there wasn't a character at Ozer's. I really thought one would be there. But as usual, it was Kefka and Narshlocked.
Yeah, you didn't do Burning House, your opponent did, but that also was not a character. So it was, in fact, Kefka and Narshlocked on this seed.
Yeah, the checks I had available wasn't too bad, so I was okay with, last location and Burning House. I wouldn't feel like the seed was utterly ruined if it was last location Burning House. Because, I was still making progress. I didn't have to do any, really over-the-top goofy checks. So, I just went ahead and did the Peekable first before going in a Burning House. And I peeked the Sabin, who was in the party for 1 minute. Yeah, I had to get that natural jump Edgar in, because when you have natural jump, you can do Merit Award Dragonhorn.
I was actually thinking about that too, because I was wondering if you were just going to give him whatever spear you got from the Dragoon set and then send him on his way, or give him the Merit Award and have him dice jump.
Dice jumping. It solves everything sometimes.
Yeah, 60% of the time, it works every time.
I would have considered a spear if... Actually, I don't even know what spear I had. Probably just a Pearl Lance. I would have considered that if I had a Strength Plus Magicite, but even then, not really. The thing is that Edgar joined so late, I didn't really have a chance to build him in any kind of way. And when you don't have time to put a character together, dice is the quickest way to get him online.
Yeah, it's true.
I couldn't teach him any spells. I couldn't stat boost him. I couldn't go shopping for him. It's just throw the dice on him.
Yeah, the haste that you get from the 4 dragons too, I think that helped a lot with his damage.
Yeah, the haste is great, and especially if you're in a more scrappy statue fight, you get 2 turns to their 1 turn, so that stops them from wiping you on the last turn before you knock him out. I think I got 4 Ultimas on Poltergeist before he moved because you're just so fast with the haste.
Yep. Well, I think that's all I've got. Possum, do you have anything for HunnyDoo?
No, just very well run. GG's to you and to Team Doomgaze. I absolutely adore watching you play not only this game but other games as well. And even though I'm on Team Bahamut, I couldn't think of a better person to be knocked out of the tournament by. So GG's to you and the team, and going to be rooting for you from here on out, man.
Yeah, thank you. Hope we can go all the way in. Shout outs to all the teams we played on the way to the semifinals. Everybody just played their hearts out. This has been an amazing event. So, huge thank you to the staff, the restreamers, the commentators, you know, double down, updating the brackets every week. And huge shout out. Gotta call this person out specifically, Saberwolf. Feels like Saberwolf's done like 20 restreams in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So huge shout outs to him specifically. He's putting in so many hours for this community. But just thank you everybody in the community. It took everybody to make this event happen, and we on to the Final Four. See you guys next week.
Heck yeah.
GG's and good luck.
All right. I think that was all that we've got for you tonight. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed this fantastic race between HunnyDoo and GoldenShocker. Let me just double check one thing here. Yeah, so Team Doomgaze is going to go up against Team Valiant, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. Yeah, Team Doomgaze versus Team Valiant.
And then we have Team Grand Train versus Team Minerva coming up. And those are going to be your semifinal matches. So even more exciting stuff to come. So be on the lookout for that. But for now, big shout outs to, first, I guess I'll give my big shout outs to Saberwolf as well, because, he's a positive madman. Doing a whole bunch of restreaming. The Schwantz 27 as well. Of course, my co-commentator, Pasta Morpheus, in the booth. Thank you so much, sir. It is always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you to everyone as well behind the scenes, the admin team, all the restream folks. Of course, you, Gar, teaching me so much about this game. Wouldn't be here without you. So always happy to get to do comms with you. And yeah, that's all I got. Just a heck of a match. Honored to be able to do comms for it. And, really looking forward to the semis. And in 2 weeks, the finals. Going to be a heck of a rest of an event. So that's all I got. Gar, is there anything else we need to add?
Nope. Thanks, Fitz, for being the restreamer. Thanks, PB&J, for pushing the buttons behind the scenes. That's it for us. Until next time, I hope you all have a great evening, and we'll catch you later.